Yo, what's going on? In today's video, I'm talking about how to become a leader. And when I say a leader, I mean, this is particularly for people who are in business, who want to employ people, keep good people, and how to just actually attract and keep good people, motivate them, and actually, grow your business by leveling up your leadership skills. Okay, and I think that this is actually one of the most important conversations that you can have as a business owner. But in this specific space, in like the internet marketer, digital entrepreneur, coaching, consulting, service provider space, it's not a conversation that happens much. And let me also lead by saying that I have made more leadership mistakes than the average viewer watching this has had leadership successes. And I just say that in all honesty, because one of the things that I came into when I was doing Taekwondo was this phrase. I was like 14 when I did this. Was this phrase or this reminder that the black belts are black belts because they've just failed more than the white belts have even tried, right? And so I think leadership is just one of these things where your best successes come from good leadership decisions. Your biggest failures come from bad leadership decisions. And I used to just be a one-man show where it was just me and a YouTube channel, and I just like uploaded stuff and took sales calls and locked down deals, and I could do an easy $150,000 a month with that. Then I migrated to like funnels and just ran ads to a funnel. Same thing, could easily do multiple millions of dollars a year as a one-man show. But the problem, here's why the one-man show thing is glamorized when it really shouldn't be. Here's my assessment of it. I really think the one-man show stuff, it's attractive to people who aren't willing to deal with people. And the problem with that is that if you're not willing to deal with people, what does this say about you? Like, why aren't you willing to deal with people? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with people that you think you're high and mighty and aren't willing to deal with them? It just is kind of silly to me. And also, you're leaving so much growth on the table, too. When you do learn how to work with people and be a good leader and have a good organization, have a clear team mission, vision, and values, and create, good meetings that go over those things, and, be able to level with your team and really lead them and do right by them and the promises that you make to them, which I haven't always done. I'm not, honestly... I've made some mistakes, you know what I mean? It's one of the most painful mistakes you make as an entrepreneur are just like the people mistakes. So in this video, I just want to talk about just 3 simple principles for how to become a good leader. And throughout the video, I'm going to be referencing some really good books. And these are books that I'm currently reading or have read. And if I really did everything that they told me to do, the reason I haven't being that it's hard. But if I really did everything that I told them to do, I could easily have a multiple 8-figure company right now, to be honest. So the first thing is, first principle of good leadership is just accepting full responsibility for everything that happens. This is obvious, and I feel like this is like so obviously talked about in the coaching space and everything, or not even just the business space, but it's actually very rare to see it in practice. Like if a team member does something, it's ultimately your fault that you chose them, or your fault that you didn't already talk to them about that before they made the mistake, right? Or if they have a success, it really, let me reiterate, the first principle isn't just taking full responsibility. It's taking full responsibility for the failures, but giving your team full responsibility for the successes. So it's like, if anything goes well, it's all the team. But if anything goes poorly, that's all you. So you have to be willing to have that posture. And I laugh because it's just, it can be really frustrating at times, you know what I mean? It's actually very hard for me to do. But I'm learning, and it's been actually a lot of fun to watch myself and watch like parts of me just fizzle out and die because of these new learning lessons. So if things are going poorly, that's your fault. But if things are going great, it's all the team, and they get all the credit and all the glory. And it has to be that way, because your team has to, they will still ultimately feel the pains of the failures. Like like by you taking responsibility, you're not alleviating their responsibility. You're still taking responsibility. Everybody in the organization should take responsibility for everything, ideally. But as the leader, you have to lead by example in that, right? So that's the first idea, is that you take full responsibility. If something goes well, that's the team. You can privately celebrate and, maybe publicly celebrate a little bit, but not much. And if something is go poorly, that's your fault, and you have to address that. And sort of some sub points off of this one is address the elephants in the room when something isn't going well. Don't just let it sit. Like, you have to fix things that aren't working. You know what I mean? Like, I myself, like, I wrote up a whole new funnel, all new ads, a whole new video, and everything in like 3 days. And it works, and it's working great. It's booking calls, it's getting us leads, it's everything. It's everything it needs to be for the team to perform. Okay, the second principle of good leadership, I think, and again, I can only speak for myself, I'm not like a leadership expert or anything, but it is a conversation that is just not happening enough in the business space, in my opinion. The second principle of good leadership is there's literally no such thing as leadership except by example. So, you know, people are like, lead by example, lead by example. It's like an oxymoron. It's like the only way to lead. They'd be saying like, breathe with your lungs. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, obviously. And so I think, you know, the good leaders are people who literally can do it themselves, are proficient at it, know how to do it, and can lead the team literally by example. And, you know, you have to be fully willing to do every component of your business. You can't, like, you can't have this, like, you have to be a specialist in what you bring to the marketplace, but a generalist in your own business. Does that make sense? Like, you have to be able to do everything, literally down to the accounting and everything. Like, you have to be able to do everything. And again, I'm not perfect at this. You know, there's some things that I still kind of graze over, and some things that I still just don't really, I like make excuses and whatever, and I still have to learn in that way. You know what I mean? But you need to be willing to do everything and demonstrate what it looks like to do everything well. Especially things like client relationships and sales. Especially those things. Like, if you can't sell your own thing, you're ridiculous to expect your team to. It is just absurd, right? So that's a really, really big one. So lead by example. Know that everybody beneath you is only going to be about 80% as good as you at that thing at best, because you're the only one with the vision, and you're the only one with the level of reward and benefit involved. So therefore, you are the only one on the team who's really done the work necessary, is willing to do the work necessary ultimately to get it where it needs to be. If somebody else wants it more and is more willing to do the work, then they're just going to outgrow your company, right? That's just how it works. So that's the second principle. Leadership is only by example. So you have to be able to do the thing yourself and then be able to teach it. And John Maxwell's got this idea of like the 4 stages of passing off a skill. First is proficiency, self-proficiency. The second is demonstrated proficiency, so doing it while they watch. The third stage is they do it while you watch. And the fourth stage is they do it on their own. So proficiency, they watch. First, you got to be good at it. Excuse me. Then they watch you be good at it. Then you slowly transfer, not like a light switch where it's on off, well, 100% your responsibility, 100% theirs. It's not this like pass it all over. You hand it over to them over time as they earn trust, and then you're watching them and reviewing and adjusting them. That's the longest period of time right there, is the training, and the final one is they're proficient at it. So your proficiency while they watch, you watching them, making them proficient, and then they're proficient. But it starts with, you'll notice, your own proficiency. So if you're not proficient at the thing, then like how can you expect somebody else to be proficient, right? Okay, so then what's next on this list? Just the first principle, the second principle. The third principle, I can honestly say, is just the admittance of your own biases, arrogance, and ego. Like constantly being humbled. And really this is just servant leadership. You know what I mean? Like it's so tempting to look at the leaders of organizations and think that they're the biggest man in the room and that they're in charge and that this big ego about things. It's tough because sometimes the leader genuinely does know better. And that's when you kind of have to step in as the leaders, when you actually do know better. But you have to make sure that it's not that you don't want to be wrong, but it's that you actually do know better. So really, a good leader has like pretty much no ego. Like, they don't need to be right. They just want everybody to succeed. So if they're going to step in, it's not because they don't want to be proven wrong by an employee. That's the wrong mindset. That's a terrible losing mindset. The right mindset is, I just genuinely know what is best, and if you don't see it the way that I see it, let's have that conversation, because I want you to see things the way that I see them. And really, the ultimate, like, pinnacle goal of leading a team is getting a team rallied behind the same things that you value. They need to see the world the way that you see it, breathe the same sort of air you see, or breathe the same sort of air that you breathe, walk, talk, and act like you do. Like, this is an ideal. Like, ideally, they literally become clones of yourself. But obviously that's a little bit silly. That's just an ideal that you have in mind when you're making decisions. Like, if I were trying to get them to see this the way that I see it, how would I explain it to myself in their seat when I didn't understand it the way that I need to in order to be able to be proficient like I am today, right? So these are just some ideas about leadership, right? And how to actually lead a good team, because, right now it's my birthday week and I'm taking the week off. I'm turning 24 in 2 days. And, I'm staring 8 figures in the face. You know, I've always wanted to be at 10 million. Something about $10 million a year is just like really cool to me. I just think it'd be really special to hit that with an amazing team, and we're well on track to doing it. We're planting a lot of the necessary seeds in the relationships with the team, putting the right people in place, and it's really fun to see it all coming together. I think the business model itself and what we're capable of is can honestly probably go further than that. But I don't know, I just think it'd be a cool milestone, and more than that, more than even just like reaching 10 million just to make a lot of money, really I want to build something that's big enough for other people who are leaders themselves to plug into. Because I think personally that first, hitching your wagon to an industry that you don't think is going anywhere for a while, which I think this space will be here quite a while. Secondly, solving a very real problem that they have, which for us is like marketing and sales, and actually helping them get more clients consistently, more numbers driven, without using any over the top marketing or like bro marketing or anything like that, or like actually just having a consistent, good marketing system that really feels aligned with them, is long term and everything. And then third is getting leaders involved. So the reason why I want to aim at 10 million a year isn't just to make a lot of money. Like, the money's gonna be a great side effect, and I want to build a lot of wealth, and I want to invest a lot, and I want to have a lot of financial freedom with my family and be able to give and all these things. And I just really want that sense of like real, like solid, like peace that comes with a multi-million dollar net worth, or maybe an 8-figure net worth, right? I would love that. But more than that, or probably equal to that, not more or less, but equal to that, I want to do life and business with people that I love and respect. And I think that if my vision is too small, then I can't attract good people. And there's this really good, I think it's like Peter Drucker has this quote about how it's easier to build a big thing than it is to build a small thing. Because when you're aiming big, you attract people who are willing to sacrifice big and who are A players, especially when your vision actually has some like an actual plan to it. You're not just aiming at that number just to aim at that number, or aiming big just to aim big, but you've actually got like a really solid plan, and you've got like a good pitch and why somebody should be involved here, which like your mission, vision, and values, the culture you're building, and the money involved typically is enough to attract really, really good people. So if you guys want more leadership content, please let me know. I make content just out of the desire to just document and share and teach and just show what I'm learning and everything. Honestly, I don't really need to make content in order for the business to do well, which is a great place to be at. I really just want to make content from a place of just like giving and giving and giving and giving. And maybe I'll ask here and there for things, or tell you what we have for sale or whatever. But for the most part, like, this YouTube channel and what I do here is just documentative. Probably 20 to 30% of the videos I'll mention something, just to be healthy, because like, you know, I have to make money with what I do somehow. Otherwise, yeah, I am, you know, taking time away from the people who need me to make money motivated decisions, which is my team. So yeah, hopefully this has been a valuable video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. See you in the next one.